Okay, so today we're going to look at brain sections in your microscopes.
Atreng nzu lebe kita wanza thapong leba du shach di wanza thapong tayres.
So, who has used a microscope before?
Thadon chige bengema bichitani suyos.
Who has not used a microscope before?
Bichita manyini suyos.
Okay, so here's a microscope, okay?
Di thadon chigires.
Many parts that you have to know how to use.
Jidanda ene thadon chigila chagi mangbochire di bichitanda hakko gores.
What are these?
Digide gares. Ta tangshi digidra.
We call eyepiece.
Ta ene dila migita ene.
That's where you look through.
Jidan digyune tagores.
You look with both eyes.
Minika gitagores.
But maybe your eyes are closer or farther apart than the other person.
Jidanda ene migni paro yansede chijumando yansegres.
So you can move the eyepieces. Try that. Okay, you can move them. You should move the eyepieces so that when you look through, both of your eyes can see clearly.
Jidanda yama gujutanchi sozo ta migla sambegita ene yansede tadashagores.
When you came in the room, there was an image in your microscope.
There was an image in the microscope.
You should be able to look through your microscope and see a brain. So do that now and adjust the eyepieces to match your eyes. Like this. Okay? And Paul and Jan and I will walk around and make sure it's working for you. Can you see through? Use both eyes, both eyes. Not one eye, both. Okay, this knob here is the focus. If you need to focus up and down to make it clear, does anybody not see brain in their section? There. Let me see. If you want to move the brain section, this is to move it. If you look through the eyepiece, you can move the brain section a little bit. What does this do right here? Who knows?
The light.
It makes the light brighter or dimmer. Okay, good. What are these for?
The powers.
Yes, different magnifications. I want you to start with the lowest magnification. The lowest magnification, please. Okay, now I want you to try and find this structure right here. Some of you have it and some of you don't. But most of you have this structure. See this structure? Can you find it? Most of you have it, some of you don't have it. This structure is called the hippocampus. It helps you orient in space. If you close your eyes and remember where you were and walk through the door, you're using your hippocampus.
manzo chodama di tona hakogores di pichutang karsugori lega chugores.
What are the black dots here? Who can tell me?
Chodan dilla thik na bodin do adikares.
All of these black dots.
Naktik din do mangbo. Naktik di kares. Some say axon.
Every one of these black dots, including many here, are neurons. That's the cell body of the neuron. Okay? See, when I said there's 10 billion neurons, there's thousands and thousands of neurons. Okay? Just above the hippocampus, this is the cerebral cortex. We were talking about this already, the somatosensory cortex. By the way, what animal are these sections from? Do you know?
What? Rat.
It's rat or mouse. Some of you have mouse, some of you have rat. This is what the rat uses to think with. These are the cortical neurons. All of these black dots are neurons in the cortex. Did you all find the cortex? Can you find the cerebral? Can you find the cerebral cortex in your sections?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at a neuron.
They haven't found the cortex yet.
Oh, okay.
Can you explain that in the center of your slide is a bundle of axons called the corpus callosum.
corpus callosum
Down to here. See if you see the corpus callosum. And Jen, you may want to look just to make sure that they thought they had a cortex.
Not the space, right? Not the empty space, right?
No, not the empty space.
Nagbot. Lesam said it, lesam. Leba yeini kita tuking is samba do drita samba.
Okay, let's try and look at a neuron.
So
I'm going to try and focus on one of these black dots. In the hippocampus. Okay, so I'm going to turn the objective to the next highest power.
top the chair time di jamadila chair time tawayna.
I was at 4 times magnification, now I'm going to 10 times magnification. So now I focus. Don't go to the biggest objective. It can break the slide. Okay, you see all these black dots? Those are all nerve cells. Those are all neurons. And you can start to see their dendrites, the little processes coming out of the neuron is their dendrites.
저단다에네 거기 달린 사진 되기도 통도스.
And maybe you see those and maybe you don't because some sections are pink and some are black like mine.
다 가시네 지가 디나신 나고 가시네 다에네 저라 메기든데 인스그레 참다 통못 받은데 여기스그레스.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next power. This is 40 times.
아데 답 쉽죠 기체로 딱 말했어.
So now I have a high power view of the neurons. All of these brown dots are neurons, including all of those. Those are very crowded neurons, all packed together.
저도 나한테 되는 원자 처분을 했지. 거기 나고데 사고 나고 주다 아들라 원자 처분 망보 이렇게 저래 사 담보.
Let me see. What's this one? You can see cells.
Can I explain something?
Yes.
They have two different kinds of stains on the brain sections. Two different kinds.
저단다에네 결혼서 셀렙디가라에네 천단기 처음으로 니두스.
One type is this, which is a stain for neurons called NUM.
다 천기 릭치가르스나 디레스 단다 nuance 나 줄랍스다.
And it's written on the end of the slide, NEU.
저단디 천디기 민데 파이 디간라 티샤요스 NEU 티샤요스.
And the colors are orange and brown.
저단디기 네 저다데 가르스나네 가르스고리 레왕다 다는싱 디 가르스고리 싱캬 든디치긴 사르다 저다 든디로지르스 낙보다네 서분도 든디치.
Second type of stain, different type of stain, some of you have.
다네 천기리 니바데 가르스나.
And it is purple and pink.
저단디 가르스나네 가르스고리 묵바다네 양 셴바지르샤 가르사 핑스티간라다네 지그 싱견도 인사르다.
So that is stain does not allow you to see individual neurons as well as this stain.
저단디네 그 원자 처분 깐치기네 야고 턴투고 말했어. 디난신들이 세워 턴투고 말했어.
So you can come to this microscope and look through it. If you
저단다이네
have one of those.
저단다이네 기자들이 단위 쪽으로나네 디 자동식이 딜라탄 츠 용체 따는 리그레스.
So please come and look through this microscope if you don't have one of these types of sections.
저단다 기자 결혼설로 얘기도 드니 마이나네 디 따네 디츠 용네 따는 리그레스.
Okay, can I get everybody's attention?
정말로 더난차스.
This is a different type, this is a different brain stained in a different way.
디네 레바 셴바지라네 다 천단단 셴바지 베지타이르스 이도다 천 셴바지 베지타이르스.
This blue here is staining the axons.
다른 문부지도 문부대 가르스나 원자 탑봉기에 나켓사텐데레스.
The connections between major parts of the brain are stained blue here.
지단다에네 원자 탑봉치 바로 이게다에네 뒤좀 다 뒤줄 디데 가르스나에네 문부기 천단샤이레스.
So you can see a major bundle of connections running underneath the cerebral cortex.
지단다에네 레슝균에 단다 원자 탑봉기다에네 왕자 디게데네 뜻 rumbu기 도구다.
This is the one side of the brain, and that's the other side of the brain.
지단다에네 레바기 초니 들어와 예인이 들어와.
You learned before that what side of your body does the left side of your brain control?
지단다에네 수부기 차히 체가데네 가리기 단서제 오픈나 수부기 차히 다 염화데네 가리기 단서제고래 레바기 차히 가리 예바기 the right side of the brain.
Okay, good. And the right side of your brain controls what?
지단다에네 레바기 차히 예바데 가리 단서제그래 염바 left.
Okay, so if I do this, yeah, one side of my brain, the left side, throws the bottle, and the right side of the brain catches the bottle.
저단당이 두스 야마 육두 tsamakar스나 레베기 차히 예바디 육체네 연바디 렌 두스 체그레스.
And I have to, my brain, one side of my brain has to talk to the other side of the brain to coordinate that.
저단 든드네 다 차와데네 kar스고르 타드고 야라 kar스나 다 레베기 차히 초니데 kar스나 찌찌라 네 kar스고르 다 데와체고레스.
This bundle of fibers here, these axons, send the information from one side of your brain to the other to allow you to coordinate the two together.
저단 디긴 단다게 다케츠는 망고시도 디 kar스나 레베기 차히 예인이보 바로라네 다 다친 타니데 차데고스 람가기선도 차고레스.
What do you think would happen if I cut that fiber?
다케츠디니 바로로 톱샤와이나 kar치사레스. There will be no communication between the right and left.
Then how many brains do you have in your head?
In your head. Tadi imbayna kina leba nalola mare go nalola leba kazeres. Leba ni. 2 brains.
Exactly. People have done classic experiments showing that if you cut the brains apart, the person acts as if they have 2 brains.
저선다 ene di tola ene tsenibatsu 다지 체체로 ene leba yeini bode ene parula tupshade ganla ta cheshade ganla ro ene ko leba ni yobesndo ta ene namjurdindi ta shikadindi leba ni yobesndo tengres.
We can talk about that in class sometime if you're interested.
저선다 키란서 딜라 도나 요바이나 간zo lebe naloga zinda nalola di jangos.
This is one of the reasons we think that the brain is the seat of cognitive abilities, thinking abilities.
저단다 ene lebe na hidogi ta chawadigide ene lebe hidogi chawadigide karsna hidogi chawadigide leba tugu yoba gimsen chikdi chadugures.
Okay, some of you don't have this connection between the two halves because you're in a part of a brain that doesn't have that connection.
저단다 키란서 di nalone kashi di parola tusum pagi di sambado dio mares karsna ko lebe gidne chashi shamba dindela yan kuni parola ene ta din mesa dindi yores.
Okay, who can tell me what part of the brain this is?
di lebe gi chashi kare res. Cortex.
Cortex, very good. What part of the brain is underneath the cortex? This structure right here. It helps you with space and memory.
저단다 ene ganzu neshidan ta neshin tembala ene ta ramdi cheni gita ene lebe chashi de kare res. Sotama hippocampus.
Hippocampus. And just underneath the hippocampus there's another structure. You see it here?
저단다 ene 저다마이네 갸블라이네 디야 코바샴 차시 챵바지레스.
This is called the thalamus, which means couch.
저단다 네 딜라가르스버스나 간저 레북스버다 레북.
You can remember that because the brain sits on the couch.
저단다 ene 코 가르스나 couch 등랑 간저 디 가르스버다 굽자다 굽자기 선도지 살아와. 저단디네 두스타고 김선데레 코가르스나 굽자간라 데기 요비선도 섭타든지 도아스.
This structure right here is called the visual thalamus, and that connects your eye to your visual cortex.
저단딜라 가르스나 톤서 레북스고레스 톤서 레북 디기네 타네 미그데네 파기 톤서 레션라 드와소니드레스.
All right? Underneath the thalamus is another structure called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus regulates your basic bodily functions. Like sleep, eating, drinking.
저단다네 수부기다 시름기 첼레든데라 단서체르 페나 니쿠바다네 칼라사와다 다네 든데 시름기 레가든데라 단서체르스.
Okay, again, what structure is that?
니 코바데 가르레스. 소다마 hippocampus.
Hippocampus. What's it for?
소다마디 레가 가르레스. 템바냐리아 storing memory.
Helping to store memory. What else?
다 템바 드비아 들어와. 다는 에네 셴바 가르레 칠레코. Yeah, coordination, space orientation.
Okay. Which way is Drepung? That way?
Drepung?
The prayer hall.
Yeah, that way.
Okay, all of you know where the prayer hall is, right? If you imagined walking to the prayer hall and then going into the prayer hall, even with your eyes closed, and you imagine taking your seat in the prayer hall, those neurons are firing.
지난다 키란스 다 믹쯤쟁 다 에네 도간 gellamgala droche 다 에네 도간 나로라 주네 거기 다 에네 댕간라 대신비 다 딘리 넘버 도지 넘버 다 심라 딘리 넘버지 차르추바이나
Those neurons,
원자 타본 디기디 레가치 고레스.
they're firing because of your navigating through space in your mind.
지난 군주 레가치 고에 데 가르스나 키랑 다 사자 다 니시 가와요메 다 니시 야마 karsurta and doguyobi number shargorwa that these.
What structure is this here?
Cortex, cerebral cortex.
Okay. Notice the cerebral cortex in the mouse. It's not that large. If you took the cerebral cortex of a mouse, it's a sheet, and it's about the size of a dime. I don't know, a coin. It's the size of a coin, a small coin.
레슌데 나 샤바 나 페춘준레스 먼저 디나신 다네 짜고르 춘준단신레스.
But if you took my cerebral cortex or yours and you unfolded it into the sheet, it's about this thick and it's about the size of a pillowcase.
Size of a pillowcase.
Pillow or a pizza. Do they eat a pizza?
다네 도아미기 네 레슌데 코체 tus 레블립서와 나로 나르체 레블립서와 에 피자는 진짜로 그래서 먼저 다 발립 딘리지도 피자세 발립지도 어디는 신침보여레스.
That allows us to be smarter than mice.
저단 디기 토네 먼저 다 지지단 들어와는 먼저 남주 토와 가서 그렇다. 리바차와 남 딘리지 차고레스.
So a human cortex is about this big. A monkey cortex is about this big. A dog, mouse.
저단다 도아미기 네 레슌데 데가 침보여레 네 다네신 two girigdigidi ne this choire ta ne kidan ta zizila chashabana delegen choires.
What animal do you think has a cortex as big as human?
Ta doame ta chichung imbe ta ne lesson tindi yoni simjing karere. Chimpanzee.
No, not quite as big.
Dolphin.
Dolphin? Another one.
Shamba. Lunch elephant.
Elephant. One more.
Shamba. 다 도함에 다 체중이 다 레바 침보인이 있던데.
What big mammal lives in the ocean?
다네 야초이 나로라 뉴스심진 침보가리래. Whales, whale.
Whales have a very large brain.
다 whales 얘기 다 냐침보지다. 딜라이네 레바 침보이레스.
Part of the size of your brain is according to the size of your body.
저다 레버기 체중세야 됐다 수부기 체중 라인에 다 자식이 차네 다 차직들라 하려고 그랬어.
So whales have a large brain because they have a large body.
저단 군줄라 가르스나에 수부 침보 든지지 여바선단 레버 침보 요레스.
But also part of a large brain allows you to have complex abilities.
따에네 양 차직 가르스나 다 김선직 가르스나 다 레버 침보 연구해야 돼. 네 레버 침보 디기 따에네 지가 complex behaviors,
Complex behavior.
complex behaviors. 다네 희주 즉 요즘chen 희주 간요차보든지 즉 중고도 참바 레버 침보 그랬어.
Yeah, so your cortex is about the size of pizza. What's the bread you eat at lunch? Palais. Large palais. Huh?
저나 결혼수네 레신데 또서 레르서와이나 팔레네셔레스.
How many palais do you have in your head?
다네 레베나로라 팔레가즈레스.
No, two.
팔레니레.
One each side, okay?
초니라
One here,
팔레니레스.
one here. Okay? But a palais is flat.
팔레드 레르로스.
If it was inside of our skull and flat, it would be like this.
저단다 레르인바이나 코 간즈 레베난 로드sam바 다 숑마로스.
We would have to have a very large head or a head that was flat.
당간즈 레 고드 침부지요 그래야면 따에네 고간 가마데 레르인 고치그레스.
That would be very difficult for both childbirth and for living because it would be a very awkward head.
저단다에네 도마 아메 코바니 기드참바 강이 테그레. 당한에시 야마 로드참바 강이 테그레스.
So how did nature solve that problem?
다 딘딘로 까뇨데네 란중 감기 간르지 도와레.
How would you get a palais inside your head?
So folding.
Yes, it's folded up. That's why when you look at the brain, it looks all wrinkled. It's because the palais in your head has been folded.
저선다에네 간저 레베데 파타데 참바에네 지 니르마 쿰규드네 도 니르마 쿰데요라. 저선코 두스 답적여고레스 라 니르마는 시차로 그렇다.
Each person, the pattern is a little different, but there are very common large folds.
저선다에네 미 바로라에네 코 답적 yap당한 따에 니르마 쿰단 데스 먼저 입 먼저 이레스 다 임바이나 상말로 투몽도 네 갈수 그렇다. 답적 야야데 찍바 이레스 따에네 딘데 쿰데요다.
Any questions?
좋아.
라파사자네. 제가 지잖아요. 이게 남자로 도와서 한국. 제가 지잖아요. 그 네가 지다 그래.
제가 치잖아.
아,
So if you cut corpus callosum into and make two brains, will the brain able to function?
Yes, that's been done in several people because of epilepsy surgery to help stop their seizures.
저단다에네 디 제투고레스 디 먼저 seizures 띵ala 먼저 게스르세기 나사주다. 겔스르 먼저 템바토르도 나사주다. 저단 게스르세기 나사디네 제탑기 체도 가르스나 제기 체도 먼저 디 레바니우드 뚝샤그레스 고 드섬데 삼바데 제샤그레스라 어딘데 망보총이레스도.
And who knows where language is usually located in people?
저단다에네 먼저 계획대 먼저 레베기 차시 가와라요레스 신기요베.
Ability to speak. What part of the brain?
저단 먼저 계획 딱 계적 히트비야 되는 먼저 레베기 차시 가와라요.
It's on the left side.
저단 먼저 연마 레바 연바들라요레스.
In most people, it's on the left side if you're right-handed.
저단 기적 캐면서네 라과 예바 비치 당긴 지금 바이나 얘는 먼저 계획대 레바 연발라요레스.
So if you surgically cut a person's brain into two pieces, one side and the other, only the left side can talk.
저단다 얘네 기적 샤슈 단체 레바니브 예니브데네 파 제샤바이나 고 파르쯤데 제샤바이나 레바 연바디 지부기네 기적 히트그레스.
So if you talk to such a person and they talk back, you're only hearing from their left side of their brain.
저단다 콜라 기적 히체네 쿠츠레 렌든데 갸바이나 키란스다 ku 군수 기차데 가완 초네 연구르스나 레바 연마 초네 연구레스.
Very interesting, huh?
저단페 연사우도스. Will it affect the way the person thinks?
It definitely affects the way the person thinks, and there have been many studies of these very interesting people. Okay, imagine poor Paul here. In the middle of the night, I drugged him, and then I took him to the operating room and I cut his brain in half. And then the next day, I asked Paul to come to my office, and I examined him. And I tell him to close his eyes and hold out his hands. And I put something in his hand, his right hand. And I ask him, what is in your hand?
It's a stopwatch.
He knows. He knows what it is. But then, if his eyes are closed, and I take something and I put it in his left hand, and I ask him, what's in your hand? What will he say? What will he say?
What
will he say? What will he say? Tell me, what will he say? What does that mean?
I don't know.
He says, I don't know?
No.
Why does he say, I don't know?
Where did the feelings go?
So, if I have that in his hand, what part of the brain does it go to? Which side?
Right brain, right hemisphere.
It goes over here. Which side has language? Which side can speak? Quit raising your left hand. Over here. So when I talk to him and ask, and he responds, he doesn't know what's over there because this side of the brain can't communicate to that side of the brain.
Very interesting.
And then if I tell him, okay, you can open your eyes,
Okay, now my eyes are open.
and he looks at his hand,
Not a biscuit.
no, he says, oh, I have a phone.
A phone in my hand.
That's because your eyes go to both sides of your brain.
And
when he looked at the phone, the left side of the brain could see the phone, and then it could say phone. Okay?
Other examples in split brain.
All right, let me tell you this. Here, let's say that.
Hold it. I have a
No,
question.
no. Wait. Okay. Now, what would happen if I show him a phone? Okay? I show it to him. And then I tell him to close his eyes. And then I say, okay, use your left hand to find the phone on the table with your eyes closed. Can he do it? you're supposed to be able to find the phone.
Why is that? Oh, because I saw it.
You
I saw it.
okay? I show it to him.
So the
I
left
said
side
he,
knows.
the left side, the right side knows, the left side knows. Then he can use his left hand, which is controlled by the right side, to find the phone, because the right side knows, it saw it.
지난달에는 담보 가버드 땐데서 먹고 하고 선장 가르스나 레바기 차히 예의 니기야 하고 그랬을 때 믹쯤 고 가버 가와이메데 째네 고 쓴투 그랬어.
Any question?
좋아.
이거 만나디 제마요. 밑서로 대시다 제마라고 고 그런 이유가 가래 사별 종류의
예술레신.
그 방법에서 괜찮지도 하고 있습니다. 아니 제가 괜찮지도 생각하고 가서 레게 하는 거 가발을 내는 것도 물론
담보 스틱을 미 맞춤에 간다.
미 맞지 않는 그 코라비 바바 예보다 이런 거도 진짜 아니 예보다 가서 이제 거기서 이런 거도 잡고 하고 있습니다.
어디 가르스나 담보 제라 가르스나 믹체네 담보니네 믹 단데라. 통고로 그.
그러니까 소리야 제라디 그 밑서 다 제시하고 지금 연구 이 통해서 그런 거
So and the second example is the reason he was able to grab the phone is it due to some somatosensory memory, the newly formed somatosensory memory?
I told the experiment a little bit wrong. The experiment is, I'm going to show you something and then you pick it up just by touching. Yes. So it is somatosensory memory. So he doesn't have language for this hand, but he can feel the objects and remember what a phone feels like. So then he can pick up the phone. He saw it, right?
담보 통하러 왔어. 담보 통체네 지마 믹쯤데 간라 코 가르스나 라바 이두스 그 째네 코 라가 요바데 가르스나 루츠르든 로이베 템바지 차고레스 코 가르스나 계적이 통나 랍투고 메나양 코 라바 이두스 렉두 참바 에네 카바림 바하고 그레스.
And the right side of the brain knows what the left hand should feel when it feels the phone. So it just reaches down and feels the phone and picks it up.
저단다에네 라바 염마디네 카바르라 렉두 참바에네 리자 간데 저르고 요바디 레바 예바디 하고 그레스. 저단다 디 토나 코 렌투고 그레스.
Let me say just in another way, just another analogy. So when I see this phone, where do the signals go in my brain?
저단다에네 니 카바르드 통데 참바에네 다친디기 거로 그레스. Consolidation, visual cortex.
On one side, on the other side, on both sides.
저단다에네 레바 예 니칼로 그레스. 저단 가기 촐로 그레. Both sides.
Both sides. When I only feel the phone, what part of the brain is being taught or told that this is a phone?
When you close your eyes.
Yeah, my eyes are closed.
저단다 믹쯤네 카바르데네 레야 찍고 임바이나 타 카바르 라바 이르게 찍고 임바이나 타에네 다친데 가와촐 가와도 그레스. Only to the left side.
When I see the phone, both parts of the brain get the signal.
저다 이 통데 참바이네 레바 예니까네 다친데 저고레스.
When I feel the phone, only half the brain gets the signal.
당이 라바 이르드 참바이네 레바기 차히 초 찍마도네 다친데 저고 마레스.
So what my colleague just said is true for people that have brains split in half.
지단다에 단다기 개인기 랍데에 가르스나에 레바 예인이 보데네 뚝 사케인기 따네 레바니 레섬데 뚝 사케인기 제 사케인기 밀라 차샤마네 딘리치 차데 그레스.
But in all of us, our brains, the two halves talk to each other and tell each other everything they know.
다음에 균덴징 안준다고 차샤바에나 가르스나 레바 예인이 보치치라네 다 당고레스 다 다튼 균네 다 기제히고레스.
Because of what? How do they talk to each other?
그다음 코니 레바 예인이 보다 가르균네 그 다탄토고레. 레섬스 들어. 레섬 corpus callosum.
Because of the connections called the corpus callosum, those axons that connect the two sides together.
지난달 그 레바 예인이 그 듣기인게 단다 완자기 다키트는데 망못된서 어디 디기 터는 연거레스.
So you and I don't have any problems coordinating the two sides of our brain.
지난달 나단 큐로 땅 안주 정말로네 레바 예인이 보데네 직 드와 체체 단다 야마 유야기 딱 라바 찍는 라바 신달로 유야기 차와된 안주 다다다다네 제 두고레스.
Some people have found recently that meditation strengthens those connections.
다에네 테르바 카시이네 니철 가르스나 안주 곰기 냠랭 곰룹체베든데 곰룹체데 참바에네 레바 예인이기 단다 다 레섬지도 레섬디데네 템부소 거레스 따테나 땅고레스 직 든데 튜든지니 레스기도.
Okay, I think we're finished for today, and thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m.
다에네 두주체스 다에네 가르스고 사기 주제 개발의 제용스